So this was the week where the January 6th committee had its 6th hearing, which was a surprise emergency hearing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people speculated who would be called to testify. I thought it was going to be some documentarian.
I thought it was going to be Kanye.
Matt thought it was going to be Kanye.
You never know.
And no, it was a woman by the name of Cassidy Hutchinson, who is an aide to the chief of staff, Mark Meadows. And she had testified before in private to the January 6th committee, and this was a public hearing. They delayed telling people that it was her, in part for her own safety, because, you know, a woman in America. And she had some pretty intense revelations. And the stuff that I want to focus on has nothing to do with him throwing a plate of food across the wall, which a lot of mainstream outlets are like, there was ketchup on the wall. He's so unhinged. Don't we miss him from the White House?
Honestly, they are that horny for him to come back.
So horny.
They just like, because, you know, he's just out there throwing cheeseburgers at people, and you're just like, man, what a fun guy. He was doing a lot of crazy shit.
They're just like the clicks that we can get.
The clicks on him throwing shit against the wall.
Yeah. But I want to focus on truly what has sort of dawned on me, which is how close we were to a forced takeover of power, or a coup, if you will. Because Trump, you know, we've always been thinking like, you know, that fool was a coward, right? Like, he was riling up his people on January 6th, the Stop the Steal rally, but he didn't go there.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll be right behind you.
Right.
See you later.
And then he just went and watched it on TV. That's what we thought he just wanted to do.
Which makes
that works as a narrative.
It makes sense, as Trump, sort of very ego-driven, doesn't want to get his hands dirty, etc. But it seems like he actually did want to be there. Of course, his hands still very clean. He would have been hoisted or crowd surfing among them. But he wanted to get to the Capitol on that day. And we know that because Cassidy Hutchinson testified to as much, I believe, and I hope this is the right clip. Here she is talking about how he wanted to get there so much, he almost tried to grab the wheel of the car that he was in, being driven by a Secret Service agent.
The president said something to the effect of, I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now. To which Bobby responded, sir, we have to go back to the West Wing. The president reached up towards the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel. Mr. Engel grabbed his arm, said, sir, you need to take your hand off the steering wheel. We're going back to the West Wing. We're not going to the Capitol. Mr. Trump then used his free hand to lunge towards Bobby Engel, and when Mr. Renato had recounted this story to me, he had motioned towards his clavicles.
Okay, so
I love it.
Trump's dirty baby hands.
His little hands trying to choke out a Secret Service agent. Just grab it at him. That's great. Like a T-Rex trying
just having them have like a little fight like this.
Amazing. Amazing.
And so this was him. I mean, like, now Secret Service, to their credit, I don't know, they want to testify. They want to give their version of the story, and I'm like, let them testify. I want to hear it. Yeah, I want to know what happened.
Yeah,
it's very difficult for me to imagine in that late state of like, you know, you're there, you're in, like, she's getting the lowdown from the Secret Service agent. You know, you got Mark Meadows, you've got Pat Cipollone, you've got these other lawyers. At that point, morally, aren't you in this state of, like, when you're working for Trump, of being like, okay, I justify this to myself. He's a noble man. He's a good man. This is my job. He's doing all the things right. Like, in what world would someone have made that up to then relay to her about how it sounds like it was more of a, yo, you will never fucking guess what happened.
Yeah.
You know, and of course the right is saying she's lying. Again, this is a woman who's 26 years old. She has everything to lose by testifying.
Yeah.
There is no cushy job waiting for her after this shit.
Yeah.
She is a Republican after all. I bet I disagree with her on literally everything else.
Everything in the world.
And who knows if she's one of those Republicans who'd be like, but I'd probably vote for him again.
100%. You know that that's the case. I mean, I don't know with her specifically, But literally everyone who's been testifying against Trump, who is a Republican, who's literally been in the room while he's like, what if I just take over America? They've been like, well, yeah, I'd vote for him again. I mean, I wouldn't want a communist in office.
Exactly.
They might try to be a dictatorship, do a coup. It's like, what the fuck?
Wouldn't want health care for everyone.
Oh my God.
I mean, my stock portfolio, very fragile. So this is the physical implication. He wanted to go there trying to grab.
I'm the president. Just give me the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, give me the wheel.
Then he made the duck face, but he forgot to pray.
Yeah. Poor guy.
And if that weren't enough, we know also from her testimony that Trump knew that people were armed. He knew what he said verbatim. They're not here to kill me. They're not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
So what are you guys doing? Don't worry about it. You'll die. You'll die. I'm cool. You'll die. And this is what Pat Cipollone, who was one of Trump's lawyers, actually told Cassidy Hutchinson about going to the Capitol, saying, no matter what happens on January 6th, do not let him or you or any of us go to the Capitol.
Mr. Cipollone said something to the effect of, please make sure we don't go up to the Capitol, Cassidy. Keep in touch with me. We're going to get charged with every crime imaginable if we make that movement happen.
And do you remember which crimes Mr. Cipollone was concerned with?
In the days leading up to the 6th, we had conversations about potentially obstructing justice or defrauding the electoral count.
So not only does his top lawyer know about Trump wanting to get to the Capitol, he knows it's illegal, and he knows specifically the charges they're going to receive.
Yeah.
And way worse than just that. Had Trump actually gotten to the Capitol building, and I have opined on this a couple times this week and thought about it, but I am of two minds. Like, it would have been game over for Trump's political career, meaning he would never run again if he was up in front of them, just sort of like waving his baby arms in front of the the fires of the smoldering Capitol behind him,
in the halls of Congress, hanging out with the guy with the big horn
and the guy with the Auschwitz shirt.
Yeah. Just going through several files, being like, one of these has to be the location of all of the children from the Wayfair products. Like.
No, he would literally, it would be them just like taking photos with his thumb.
Exactly. It would just be him doing a photo shoot. He would probably give a speech and then
from the dais.
Yeah, from the dais. And it'd be like, I won the election, and then something about hamburgers, and then toilets don't flush as good anymore. And then I think they all would have just left. And
I don't know. See, here's my thing. I think they would have fought even harder for him, because in that moment, they knew he wasn't with them. Like, physically, he wasn't there.
Right.
And so they thought, like, they were like, why are we still fighting? And it was hours. It was 4 hours. I know, because there's a documentary, 4 hours at the Capitol. That's the only reason I know. But it was a fuck ton of time. And when you actually watch that doc, at the time you're thinking, and even now you're like, man, why didn't they fucking fight harder? And granted, if they had the equipment or the prep, they would have, and it would have been easier.
Who are you talking about?
The Capitol Police.
Oh, right.
But they fucking fought.
Yeah.
There was hand-to-hand long night, very long night, whatever episode of Game of Thrones.
Yes, the long night. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't make fun of me because I don't know the name.
Oh, you do. You had it.
It's just a long night.
It's just called The Long Night. Oh my God. I swear she's not even read any of the books. Idiot. Hate girls. I hate them. Sorry.
I'm cold opening the show with that.
Yeah. But I mean, like, so you were saying you were of two minds about this. One is that it could have either ended his political career.
Yes.
And the other is that he might have succeeded. And I think that's kind of like, that's the alternate universe theory that we have to like work out. What happens if he actually makes it to the Capitol with all those people? Because one side of me says that I don't believe that he is ideological enough to know what the next step is once he's there and giving a speech beyond making the statement that this is something he could do. But But and so like one part of me thinks he leaves. The other part of me goes like, at the point at which he's got all these warriors, you know, these insurrectionists in the Capitol, and he's leading them, like, who's going to stop him? Once the president is there, I feel like the Capitol Police would go like, go right ahead, sir. Like,
well, they didn't. Well, the other part of this is that, you know, the Oath Keepers in their defense are going to claim that they were told that Trump would make them a federal militia,
right?
And that they were going to be ordained,
right? And
so everything that they were doing or were about to do, would have been legal,
right? And
like that he was going to invoke the Insurrection Act, which it's unclear if that's even part of the Insurrection Act. You know, that's debatable. But it was like, do we fucking need any at this point?
Yeah.
The SCOTUS is basically going to make the Insurrection Act that.
Yeah.
And so it just feels also like, you know, that whole like, can it happen here? No. It did.
And it is.
And it nearly was successful.
And it is happening. It is going to, there's momentum in the far right movement in this country for all of this to happen, either by an extra legal means or a legal means. And he's going to be able to, especially with the newest Supreme Court decision. I mean, he's going to be able to overturn our elections. This is like the dominoes are set up. And at this point, it's like, maybe we are unlucky that he didn't try to do it then and there, because maybe he could have, you know, gotten actually charged with something.
That's a really good point. That's actually a really good point.
Like the fact that he is now still eligible to be the president again. That's bad news, folks. Bad news.
That's bad news, folks.
Yeah, kill me. It's suicidal Porky Pig.
What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.